I feel like that's been talked about to death, though. I really don't need to bring up the whole QSMP versus USMP stuff.
So, okay. So,
you know what I mean?
I'll provide some context. I do feel like it's actually important to talk about for the whole Tommy's relation to the QSMP versus USMP. Now, I don't plan on talking more specifically about Quackity situation and whatever. I talked about that in my truth video. I shouldn't have made the tweet that I did. I was obviously, there's a lot of emotions running, and obviously Quackity and I were really good friends. So it was a very emotional time, and I made decisions that I shouldn't have. But I do think that it's important to mention Tommy's involvement in this, because this is a context that maybe most people do not have, and does lead into the frustration that happened due to Tommy's video. So essentially, obviously, I was working on the USMP. Behind the scenes, it was going to be a server that had a translation mod, live translation, which obviously the QSMP did amazing with, and it was awesome. And I think that obviously they did a great job. But that was the plan. I involved only a few people kind of in the initial stages of, making this. And one of them was Tommy. So Tommy was involved. This was, obviously after the allegations. This was after the Dream SMP finale, and Tommy was involved in the discussions about creating the USMP. Obviously, he was a massive fan of doing it, and obviously was constantly asking me about the USMP, about saying, hey, when is the USMP happening? We need to do the USMP, and having tons of private conversations with me specifically about the USMP. And so obviously he was a heavy involved in my my discussions, and then of course whenever the QSMP happened. Tommy was involved in the discussions surrounding that. And I still genuinely to this day am incredibly confused, about, I guess, specifically, Quackity's, intentions and Quackity's decisions and stuff. I have no idea. I feel like I'll never know. I feel like there was some barrier that there's something I don't know about, clearly, that would be a missing puzzle piece as to why certain things happened the way that they did. At least I feel like that would be the case. From my perspective, before Tommy's video, obviously I had many discussions with Tommy about the USMP. I can get more of these screenshots, just take my word for it. Obviously he was very heavily involved. He wanted to be a part of it. He was sending me tons of messages about it, blah blah blah. And actually, whenever Quackity launched the QSMP, I was like, hey, I'm waiting on, I told Tommy was asking me, he was bumping me, he was saying, hey, when is the USMP coming out? I want to be a part of it. And I said, man, I'm trying to work things out with Quackity. I don't know what to do. I'm waiting. I messaged him. He's not replying to me. And Tommy's reply was, fuck Quackity. We need to go. You can't wait on him and let him, basically take the shine, essentially. And so then Tommy, a month later, releases a video, which is, to me, it was like the craziest. I genuinely, I was shocked. I was shocked when this video came out, and I was like, all right, well, interesting. So then I just want to play for you guys his rendition of what happened while interjecting with my interactions with Tommy. If YouTubers were honest, which also he starts this video, disclaimer, this video is not for the faint of heart. This is a warning if you're not ready for the truth.
It's done a Minecraft server to combine multiple communities, my communities together, and bring the world together. This is an amazing idea.
Hey, I don't like that idea. It's actually my idea, not yours.
Doesn't. Okay, that's fine. We can both do it, I guess.
Stop ignoring me.
What?
Stop ignoring me. You haven't replied to my DMs in a whole week.
Yeah, okay, I just didn't, that's fine, I just didn't really want to.
You're not nice.
No, okay.
You're actually really bad. I don't like it. I don't like it. You're a bully. You're a bully.
Okay.
I don't like it very much. I don't like it.
Fine,
so,
just leave me be.
You destroyed that.
So, obviously, he starts it by, having it be, I don't like that idea, whatever, obviously, which is just disingenuous.
Hey,
but from my perspective, I see this video and I go, wow, Tommy is on his knees for Quackity because he wants Quackity so badly to add him to his server. This is my look. Okay, this is Dream's interjecting opinion, not Detective Dream. Sorry, I should be an unbiased investigator. But from Dream's perspective, he goes, "Wow, what a dick! What a dick!" he's trying, not only is he trying, you know, he realized, wait, Dream right now is hated. People don't like Dream, so I can shit on Dream. Just like he took shots at, you know, people in this video. He took, you know, Logan Paul and Mr. Beast. You know, clearly he you know, easy pickings. He wasn't going for anybody, you know, controversial or anything, just going exactly with what, you know, whatever the narrative, you know, whatever the public opinion was of people. And obviously, even though I was, you know, quote unquote his friend, he realized that, you know, maybe if he separated himself from me publicly, that maybe Quackity would add him to the QSMP, because he was trying to get on the QSMP. And at this point, I had decided not to do the USMP. And I told Tommy that. So up until this point, my only messages with Tommy are Tommy saying, hey, when's the USMP going to launch? Hey, USMP is coming up. Hey, you know, so on and so forth, right? So from my perspective, I'm going, okay. And then this video drops, right? Now, this video really, really annoyed me and upset me. And I'm sure that you can understand from Dream's perspective that that makes sense. Obviously, not only is it an outright lie, because, you know, he obviously knows, you know, he knows this is not the perception because he's in private. So he knows the conversations. I also think that it's interesting because, you know, obviously from my perspective, you know, this happened. And then obviously Quackity didn't add him. So I'm curious, you know, if Quackity knew something, but I'm not, obviously I don't actually know. I don't know any of the inner workings of that, but I do think that, I want to find this screenshot, so you're gonna have to bear with me and give me just 1 second, because I do think it's important, because a lot of people also say that Quackity, you know, ditched me because of the allegations, and that's why he wasn't replying to me for the server, but that's not the case either. There's definitely more to it. So I think this is important. So this is my last DMs to Quackity before the SMP. So if you know, 3/9/2023 is 1 day prior to the announcement of the QSMP, okay? 1 day. And Quackity said, hey dude, miss you too. Are you coming to the Streamer Awards, right? Replying normally, I said, hey, been fun talking, even though we hadn't a ton of interactions. You know, we had been playing games recently or whatever. And so it was like, hey, you know, been fun talking to you, I miss you. And he said, yeah, I basically miss you too. You know, you're coming to the Streamer Awards. This is 1 day before the QSMP launched, right? So it's Quackity, obviously we were friends, you know, privately, we made content together, even way after the allegation. I'm not bringing Quackity into this at all. This is not a slight on Tommy. This is to give context to the Tommy situation. Obviously, then the next day, whenever he launched the QSMP, I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I've been working on an SMP that will have people from different countries in it as well. So I don't want you to feel like I'm stealing your idea when that happens. I would love to hear more about your SMP though. Obviously at the time, I had maybe the naive assumption that, oh, Quackity would be a part of my SMP, and I didn't know about Quackity's SMP, so it's you know, that's how it worked out. But anyways, this is obviously, Tommy knows this. Tommy knows about these messages. Tommy also knows about, you know, our interactions, you know, after that. And he also was privately behind the scenes saying, you know, let's do the USMP. They can compete. It doesn't matter, you know, et cetera, as I'm trying to make things work behind the scenes. I'm obviously messaging Quackity and him portraying me, you know, saying like, no, it's my idea. It's not true. My messages and my text to Quackity, which I think I shared a while ago, I was, hey, let's figure out something to make this work. You know what, you know, essentially, yeah, why aren't you communicating? Let's communicate. Let's, you know, I'm fine. I don't even know if I said I'm fine with not, I think I said I'm fine with not doing it. It's not worth our friendship, you know, whatever. But I think that there was something that happened here, and it, you know, obviously I can put my tinfoil hat on like Tubbo and say, I think it could be Tommy. I think there is a chance that it's Tommy somehow in this regard, because I don't know what does Quackity think? Does Quackity think that I'm, you know, like, is Tommy in his ear saying, Dreams, you're doing this server, and he's, you know, telling Quackity things or something? I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. All I know is from my perspective, I'm going, okay, I have this cool server idea. I want to involve all my friends. I make it, and then I'm talking to Tommy about it. Quackity launches a similar idea, and I go, oh shit, I don't want him to feel like I'm trying to rip him off or something. So I reach out to Quackity. I say, hey, you know, whatever. And then obviously months go by behind the scenes where there's no replies. Obviously this was after the allegations, but it was still something that I was getting people saying things to me about. It was something that was very, I was very sad, very frustrated, very confused about the whole Quackity situation. And I thought, oh, it might be, you know, if he's not replying to me privately, maybe he'll reply to me publicly. That was stupid. As I said in the truth video, in other videos, I'm sorry for that. It's just something I shouldn't have done. I don't like, you know, I think unprovoked, you know, in that case where he wasn't saying anything publicly, clearly for whatever reason it was, he didn't want to interact with me. I still to this day don't know what those reasons are, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's, you know, he has his reasons for doing what he wants. But anyway, that was, you know, a big reason that I was so upset by, you know, this video was that it was, if you, given that context, it's not that it's not funny, it's that it's lies. It's so not funny that it's over into the lie standpoint. I'll play more of it just so you guys can see. But.
Hate, though, man, it's no hate, it's just love, man, it's just love. I think you're a bad person, that's all, but it's no hate.
That's just an insane response to this.
I didn't send anyone to hate on you, man, it's all love. It's all love from me. I just think that you're the worst person ever.
It's what?
Wear a smile. Wear a smile more. Smile more, big friendly Dream. big, friendly, happy dream. Because you fucked it. You fucked up. So, not my fault, really. Not my fault, is it now?
But you just...
Not really anything to do with me anymore. Also, while I'm here, I've got to ask, will you buy any of my plushie, please? It's only $350. Everyone can afford one.
So I think that obviously there was a disconnect here where, if you watch this from the very, very beginning and you say Dream versus Quackity, and then Tommy's perspective and my perspective, makes it out to be this when his opinion privately was not only was it not this was not his opinion, this was not what he expressed privately, even in showing support to me privately, support to the USMP privately. It was in my mind such a selfish, this is just me being completely honest, selfish, money-grabbing, no backbone move. It is. He wanted to join the USMP, and then when the USMP, and he to the last second was like, no, fuck Quackity, fuck the QSMP, we can make it, whatever. And then when I decide, I say, you know what, I don't want to do the USMP. I don't want I feel like there's too much drama, whatever. I don't want to do it. Then he goes and does this and drops this video. Obviously, what am I to think? What am I on my perspective to think, right? And so obviously, when this happened, I sent Tommy a scathing message. I don't remember exactly everything I said, but I said like, what if, I just basically said what I'm saying now. I was like, bro, what a lie. Like that is a lying, fake, this isn't true. You said this, here's your opinion. Why are you manipulating your audience? Essentially, like, yes, it was scathing. It was mean. It's not something that obviously that I even after I sent it, I was like, damn, maybe that's a little too harsh, because obviously Tommy is learning as a creator. Tommy is young, et cetera, but it doesn't matter. I'm sitting there going, what do my feelings not matter? And then of course from this perspective, this was during a time when I was actively being doxxed. I was actually actively being harassed. There's people showing up at my house, putting trackers on people's cars. And Tubbo mentions this later and says like, I don't like that Dream uses that as sympathy, but it matters for context, because Tommy is someone that has behind the scenes, and in many other occasions says that it's not like, if you think that your action's going to cause anything like that, even if it's not your intention whatsoever, that you should never do that action, right? Which some people have that opinion, like about tweets as an example, like where we've had disagreements on like, oh, you shouldn't quote retweet someone or whatever because it could cause them harassment. And he's always been on the side of no matter what, if there's harassment to be caused, you want to avoid it. And so I think that in a world where he's being honest in this video, and where, it's his actual opinion, and, so on and so forth, then I still would be like, oh, it's going to cause problems. And if you care about somebody, you wouldn't want to do it. But it's the fact that it's not true. He knows it's not true. And he's pandering to a side of his audience to try and, I don't know, to accomplish what? I don't know, I don't think it was just for YouTube views. I do genuinely think it was to do with him being scared of being on Dream's side of like the QSMP, USMP issue. That's my speculation. My speculation is that Tommy was afraid of being on Dream's losing side of the QSMP, USMP situation. And how can you make it clear, I'm not on Dream's side, even though he was, is to do a video like this. That's my personal thoughts. Obviously, doesn't mean that it's true. Could be completely wrong. It's a guess, because I have honestly no idea. But then what happened after that, obviously, is Tommy's mom, which is an interesting thing. So I want to go ahead and I'll switch back to Tubbo to have him say this, and then I will reply to that. Because also, it's just, I'll let him speak.
Oh, you guys know about that. Okay, you know about Dream DM Tom's mum. Okay, yes, we do. No,
I'm just going to let him play this all out.
Basically,
and then
this is one of my gripes. I obviously, I can't speak for how anyone else feels, because obviously, these are just my thoughts and opinions and stuff. But I believe that, like, that is a massive overstep of personal boundaries, and personally, I would be mad. He did what? Explain, please. Yeah, basically when Tom dropped the If YouTubers Were Honest video, Dream DM Tom's mum, and was like, I don't exactly know what it says because it was a message, and I'm like, that's a massive overstep of personal boundaries, because like you have friend boundaries and then you have like your inner core circle, and I'm like, from that point on, I was like, yeah, okay. What the fuck? So
I let this clip play out before responding, because I think it's important to have the context and the way that he says it, right? Now, obviously, I feel like almost no matter what, even, I mean, maybe not in like a crazy world where Tommy's doing something like insane, but I feel like there's almost never a time to unprompted, like if Tommy was to just reach out, text my mom, hey, get Dream in check. Like that's not cool. That's obviously a pushing of boundaries no matter what. That's not what happened. It's very disingenuous to phrase it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the context of that. And I'm also going to show the DM that happened. Because yes, I did DM Tommy's mom, but here's the context as to why. Essentially, Tommy's mom is an active Twitter user. For those who don't know, she has a Twitter account that she posts on, and everyone knows it's Tommy's mom. She's not anonymous. She doesn't whatever. She has social media and everyone knows that it's his mom. It's not, she tweets out, she says things, she replies to his tweets, she interacts with fans, whatever, right? Whenever this video dropped, Tommy's video dropped about, the QSP, USP, my fans were obviously very upset. Some of them were being over the top. Some of them were, but they were very emotional because in their mind, for a lot of them, it was like, oh my God, disc duo, Tommy and Dream, they're no longer friends, essentially. I mean, they would make that assumption and they would have assumed correctly based on this video. And so a lot of my fans were extremely upset and they were tweeting. And I'd have to, know the exact context, but here's a tweet, that Tommy's mom made, and she was actively replying to fans, right? To, my fans. And I'm not saying that these people were being, whatever, but in this case, this person says, your son's behavior is not appropriate at all, which is why I bring, because she's obviously replying to somebody that, the same person that's, tweeting publicly. And I believe it's inappropriate for me to respond to people who include, and they said like, why do you, they were critiquing her for responding to fans. And she's still, arguing back and forth with these people. Now, obviously, a lot of this, what I'm about to say is you could technically say about me. So I guess maybe it's only my opinion because she's his mom and not a content creator. But why are you on Twitter arguing with 16-year-old Dream stans about the fact that they don't like Tommy's video? Why is that happening? Why is that a thing that's happening? That shouldn't be a thing that's happening. That should just not be a thing that's happening. But the thing is again, people could say that about me and say, why are you arguing with, certain haters, that whatever. So I also understand, the sentiment that she shows in this tweet when she says, on this tweet that, I think if I mention I have every right to respond, because I think they said like, your mom didn't raise you right or something, which is rude. And that's not something that I don't support someone saying that, but they're just mad and it's like a random hit on Twitter probably saying it. But she said something that I actually agree with. I think if I mention I have every right to respond. Why on earth should I be silent and simply accept name calling and rudeness? I definitely wouldn't accept it in real life. Preach. So why that's exactly what Tommy, had expressed. That's one of the only issues Tommy had ever expressed privately to me was with me replying to people in that exact same scenario. So I actually agree with her on this. And so as she's actively replying to, Twitter accounts, she's replying to stans and fans that are talking, that are talking about Tommy's video. I sent her a DM. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put my DM up on the screen and I'm gonna read my DM. And I will say before I read this DM that after the fact, later on, when Tommy told me he was upset that I DM'd his mom, because he essentially just said, it's not cool you DM my mom, whatever. And obviously this was after his video, so we were not friends at this point. I apologized to Tommy. I said, yeah, you know what? I didn't look at it like that. I see how you could look at it as me going over your head. I wasn't going over your head. She was replying to people on Twitter, and I messaged her in regards to that. And she was expressing opinions about the video, about Tommy's video, saying, like, oh, she thinks it's okay and that, that it's just comedy and whatever, right? So she's expressing her opinion and I wanted to let her know my opinion. So this is my DM to Tommy's mom. An essay, I know, as always. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. I just thought I'd let you know that I don't agree with lots of people replying to you and I don't want you to be attacked at all. So that's, first of all, that's how I start my message to her, is me saying, hey, just so you know, I don't want you to get attacked. I don't support anyone that's attacking you or saying mean things. I don't support that. I said, I will express that I do agree with some of the people replying because Tommy knew that would happen and knew what I had happened with my family as well. As he has critiqued me strongly for my tweets that caused doxing harassment, saying, it's going to cause doxing, so why do it? Even though I always reply that it's not my silly reply that's the problem, it's the person doxing or whatever that's the problem. Like you've said about his video, that's never what his opinion has been. His video is outwardly dishonest as he knows far more about the situation and he takes a side with his skit, which he knew would cause tons of issues. I also don't agree that it was that's in between them. And then I say after it, I also don't agree with people that it was an ableist portrayal. And I don't agree that he wants my family to be harassed or doxxed. I will reiterate though, that it has already and will cause more problems and harassment for my friends and family, and obviously myself. And that I have had people reach out already from my friends and family expressing how dishonest his video was and how many issues it's going to cause with no pluses. I got a text from my brother, from George, from almost everyone I know that was involved at all in this situation that knew the context to the whole QSMP situation, being like, whoa, why is Tommy just lying to his entire audience? Literally. I wish I could find those texts and show you. Maybe I could, but I got texts from my family members being like, why is Tommy lying? Essentially, that had been in conversation with me, obviously at dinner, another time over the past month, saying, hey, here's what's happening with the QSMP. My family would be like, hey, what are you working on? I'm working on a live translation mod. We're doing this and that. Oh, we saw what happened with Quackity. What's going on? Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. I'm trying to DM Quackity. Here's what's happening. Here's Tommy. Tommy even had conversations sometimes, like very rarely with like Drista or, one of my family members. And so I obviously, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I want to make sure that she, you know, his mom is expressing a public opinion about his video and interacting with my fans, and I want her to know what my opinion is. I think that in my mind, I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't want to upset Tommy, but I would not do it because it's some weird, crazy overstep of boundaries. She's on Twitter actively tweeting at people, and I privately reach out saying, hey, just so you know, you're saying stuff about this video that involves me and you're interacting with my fans. Here's my opinion. I think that that is, in my mind, it's very reasonable. Again, I think that if I could go back, I wouldn't do it, but primarily because clearly it really upset him and it also upset his mom, which I don't want to do that. I know my intention with this message was not at all to upset, you know, his mom or upset him. It was literally just, hey, you're saying this publicly, you're getting attacked by people publicly. I want to let you know how I feel about that. I want to make sure you know that I'm not okay with that. I want to make sure you know my personal opinion on the video, and I want to make sure you know the impact that that's having on me and my family. I think that's incredibly fair, and it's people, there's people on, I think even on the whole Brighton group and Tommy and his friends side that use this as like a way to say that I am some manipulative, horrible person, or use this as like a backing to say, see, he's so manipulative. He even like went to your mom to try and get you to, you know, whatever. It's like, that's not what happened. That's just, it's very disingenuous to imply that in some way me sharing this message with her is you know, like manipulative. And I think that, you know, Tubbo, obviously, in this case, it phrased it like I just DM'd his mom out of nowhere because Tommy wasn't replying to me, which isn't what happened. It's just not, that is just not what happened. And again, I don't know if that's what Tommy is telling Tubbo what happened. I don't know. I'm guessing not. I'm guessing it's just there's some, you know, miscommunication. Maybe Tommy's not communicating as much. But that's not what happened. It's not what happened. I did not DM Tommy's mom because Tommy wasn't replying to me. And my message to Tommy's mom, as you can see on screen, is just a very nice, normal message to somebody that is actively engaging in conversation online with my community. It was a very normal, reasonable DM. But I do think that, again, if I could go back, I wouldn't do it. But not because I think it was that, because I wouldn't want to upset Tommy. I didn't, and I obviously clearly did.